Hello, everybody. It's me, the Nutty Professor, and that's the building where our condo is in the distance. And I've walked here to Scadabush, and it's quite pleasant out. And I came here partly because they have heaters, but I'm sitting here. That heater is working. Up there, that heater is not working, but it's okay. It's fairly pleasant, and it's also a little dark here, There's more light over there, but you put me here because there's kind of more of a single table, and I'm feeling, I think there's a couple of weeks till I'll be actually a week and a half till I'm, double vaxxed. And then, I have to wait the 2-week period. I have to check on that, whether I can get, the COVID test the day I get my second one. The guy I saw at the Shoppers Drug Mart thought that, but I haven't heard that from anyone else. So, but anyway, it's a couple more weeks, and I will be able to eat inside. And this is the weird part right now is that inside, right next to me, there's people sitting at this table. I mean, just on the other side of the glass, and I'm outside, kind of looking in. We're kind of banished to the outdoors because we were unvaxxed. So I'm not complaining. It's fine, and as you know, I had my reasons for not getting vaccinated, but now I have reasons for doing so, even though it may increase the cravings. But we will deal with that when we get to it. There's still a few weeks before that, and until then, when there is relatively nice weather like this, I can eat on patios, and just gotta make sure that they have the heating on. And next time I'll say, can you not put me right next to the inside people who are kind of looking out at me going, he's unvaccinated, he's a pariah, leave him outside, So it's kind of odd. But anyway, the guy was just here. I should have asked him for my peppers. He was supposed to bring my peppers, and he hasn't brought them. So anyway, I will add to this inside. I've got some stuff that I want to talk about. So I will add to this inside. Bye for now. This is with adding the peppers. So the good thing is he brought the whole container of chili flakes. So I put quite a bit of that. And then he brought one container of, just that much. I poured it all in. It's like, for me, it's like, this is a start. But, I don't think I'm going to ask for more. I've got lots of chili flakes. But this was the chili oil, So this was the chili oil. And that's the chili flakes. He was supposed to also bring me Tabasco. He went and did everything, but it's okay, So what I'm actually eating along with the peppers is, I think it's fettuccine with Alfredo sauce and shrimps and sun-dried tomatoes. It's actually quite good, especially now that it's got the peppers. Now it's edible. I was explaining to someone the other day how if I eat food without without my mouth burning, it's like eating cardboard. But once my mouth is on fire, then I can taste the flavors. It's a bit messed up, but it's sort of the way my palate works. Anyway, I'm gonna add to this at home. I've got some analogies that I want to share with you, about addiction and cats and stuff like that. Okay, bye for now. Hello, it's me again. I was walking back to the building, which is that one there, kind of hidden by the trees, the one on the right. So I was heading back to feed the kids and just relax for the evening. And I'm walking along the lake promenade here. You can see the skyline of Toronto. And I saw this cafe, and I haven't been to this one. So I hadn't had dessert at the other place, so I stopped in for I'm having a slice of tiramisu cake and a cafe au lait, and it's like $15 for a slice of cake, and I suppose that's the going rate, for a slice of cake and a cafe, but I guess it is a cafe au lait, and it's by the lake, and it's a nice place, so I guess that's the going rate. So anyway, it's a good cake though. It's actually quite fresh, So I will head back to the kids, feed the kids, and I will probably do my inside podcast tomorrow, because I'm doing some cat volunteering early morning tomorrow, so I want to get to bed early by midnight if I can. So I will try to do my inside podcast, add to this tomorrow night or the day after. Anyway, bye for now. It's now a couple of days later, and I just wanted to show you some family togetherness time. So this is Elsie, and this is, of course, Agita in the ego chair. So I will be podcasting later in the day when the ego chair is available for me to podcast from. And we have the third member of the cat family, Finn, sitting here in the hallway. So I will podcast later in the day after Agita has vacated the ego chair. I'll probably podcast in the evening anyway. Okay, bye for now. Actually, this scene makes me very happy. Elsie has now settled in the white chair, and this seems to be established now. The white chair is Elsie's. Ego chair, when Daddy is not battling werewolves in it and not posting podcast from it. The ego chair is now Gita's, and Finn usually is up on that cat condo, but I think he's decided to have a little bit of time on the floor now. He's got a little tired of the height, and he wants to come down to floor level. So anyway, I will post later in the day some thoughts from the ego chair. Bye for now. Well, I guess I'm free to podcast now if I would, because 2 minutes after the footage I just took, Agita got up, came here, said open the door, I want to go in, and then she wants the door shut, because if I don't shut it, then babies will come in and invade her room, and then she gets upset. So she has now come into her room, and she has decided to spend some alone time in her travel case, which she uses as a cat bed. Okay, Agita, you can have your time to yourself. Daddy might do a little podcasting on the ego chair now. Okay, bye for now. Hello, everybody. It's me, Nutty Professor, and I'm in the ego chair. Agita is in her room with the door closed. She wanted a break from Family Togetherness Time, and one of the babies is there, and the other baby is in the dining room on the floor. So, and since the ego chair is available, I want to do a little bit more podcasting. Now, I want to talk about a friend of mine who is a cat rescuer. And I don't want to give a lot of details because I do try to provide anonymity. I don't use any of my friends' names in here. And I'm not even going to say, I'm just going to say she's in another province. I won't say which one. And we renewed our contact after many years via Facebook. And then I got off Facebook. It was too social for me. But we've been in contact via email for the last about 18 months or so. And very regular correspondence. And she is a cat rescuer. Plus, I have another cat rescuer friend who lives in the city, and it's her shelter, or it's the shelter that she volunteers for, that I volunteer for as a driver, and it was that shelter that I, fostered my kids from, and then I foster failed, and I adopted them. When my friend, my local friend, introduced me at the shelter, she goes, "Oh, this is our volunteer driver, and he foster failed," and everybody's going, "Oh, you're a foster failure." It's kind of like a badge of honor. But anyway, I want to talk today about my out of province friend, and I don't want to give away too many details. I mean, it's really her stories to tell, and I know that she does talk about her rescue cats on social media and Facebook and to friends, and she's actually a very good writer. I know that because I've corresponded with her in writing for the last 18 months. So if she wants to write these stories in more detail, then that's up to her. But there's one story I do want to tell because I feel a connection to one of her cats. Now, without going into too much detail, the situation, just to give a little background. And I don't think I'm going to be revealing too much, but I will check with her. And she's seen all of my podcasts, so she knows what I do. And she, when she knew that I was going to be talking about this particular cat, and she was kind of interested to see what I had to say publicly. So, just a little bit of background. She and her husband live in a rural area on some acreage, and they have a large mixed family. They have a couple of human grown children, just turned adult, who live with them. And I think she's got grown-up children who live nearby, and human grandchildren, So, but they have two sons living with them. They've got 2 dogs, 3 cats in the house. And this is pretty remarkable because the husband does have cat allergies. So he's got 3 cats in the house. And then they've sort of got an informal cat shelter. And it's, feral cats would come, and, they housed them in the heated garage, and that heated garage turned into a cat room. So it's like a cat shelter now, and there are some that come and go, but there are some that have come and just stayed in the cat room. And the ones who stay in the cat room, they get fed, My friend provides all the food, does the litter boxes, medical attention, gets them all fixed, no government funding or anything, does this all themselves, and they take them to the vets, they do everything that needs to be done. So, and some of the cats in the cat shelter stay for years, She tries to rehome when she can. When she hears about a home, she does try to rehome, and over the past 18 months, I've heard some of the cats have been rehomed, particularly the kittens. Even that I know is tough for her because they're like family members, and she keeps in touch with the homes where they've gone, and so. But there are 3 cats that I particularly want to focus on. And this is a little tricky again because of the whole name thing and anonymity. I started this because when I talked about the rescue cats that I drove, I started changing their names. And there was this one that I called Papaya, who had been caught killing chickens and then reformed. And, and when I was driving him, I asked him, do you miss the federal life? Do you miss, killing chickens? And I just said, I have, I'm trying to reform too. I was not into killing chickens, but I was into a human form of catnip, and I would hang out with feral humans, kind of, junkies, It was like a whole different, thing. But I said, do you ever miss going out and killing chickens, And I was talking to him, and Papaya was not his real name. It was another exotic fruit. So I started this whole thing, and the cats from her cat room that I want to talk about, I was going to change their names, but it's kind of difficult. And I was going to, there's one, but this cat disappeared a long time ago. And this cat, and I'm going to use the name that she gave him or her. I think this one was a her. But and the name was Wind. And Wind disappeared some years ago, and they looked for her. They put out posters and Facebook and went looking and couldn't find her. So now there was another one named after the elements. And this was the element of ground. So I'm not going to say the actual name, but you could probably guess it, So, and as far as I know, and I'll have to check this with her, but as far as I know, because so many cats, I mean, in the cat room, I think there's about 15, 16 cats that, some stay and some come and go, and, there are some that stay in shelters on the property. So, but as far as I know, the ground one is still there. So symbolically, that one is kind of grounded. Now, the third cat, this is the one that I have the third element cat, shall we say, is the one I have a connection with. And I was going to call him, and this is a him, I was going to call him Water. But, symbolically, that doesn't quite work, and, his name really is fairly symbolic, So I'm going to use a name very similar to his name, and I'm going to call him Flame. So there's a little bit of anonymity there. It's not his actual name, but I'm going to call him Flame, and I think he'll be okay with it, and I hope my friend will be okay with it. I will clear it with her before I actually post, So, or if she has any problems with it, I can always change or whatever, But I think she'll be okay with it. It's not his real name, But now, Flame had been basically an indoor cat for the last, 8 years or so. And lived in the cat room, ate dry food, canned food, used a little box, and would go out onto the property, not off their acres. So there's another metaphor here. This is like he was sticking to the Shire, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, And so he stuck to the Shire, and he did not go off their property until 3 weeks ago. And about that time, and I've been now clear, I've had that one excursion, about the time I had my first recursion after 19.5 months clear, Flame, went on an excursion off their property and was not seen for 3 days. And my friend was very worried, and, she was very happy. She emailed me saying, "Oh, Flame is back, after 3 days." So his excursion was 2 days longer than mine, So but he came back and he was very hungry, and he ate canned food, and so I asked her, I said, is it possible that he was into what Papaya was into? Is it possible he was out killing chickens? And she said it's possible. They live in a rural area, but the nearest chicken farm is a few miles away. So it's more likely, she says, he didn't tell me what he's been up to, but it's more likely that he was like hunting small rodents. Like he was on the rodent weasel path, but in a different way, So he was, and he came back and he stayed for about a week, and then he went off on another excursion, and he came back a couple of days later. He's hungry again, and he's getting affection, and he's accepted back into the family, and and he's getting cuddles, and living in the cat room, and coming into the house, and all of that stuff, and then third excursion. He went there, and she emailed me saying, you're doing much better with your, cravings, your pull than Flame is, because he's on his third, recursion, excursion, binge, whatever you want to call it. And she emailed me this morning saying he returned again. So 3 returns, within 3 weeks. So I've had the one binge, and but then and I did tell her this, that the analogy isn't quite appropriate, because he is a cat, and I am a human, and I have more responsibilities than he does. I've got my cat kids to look after, these 3, and I've got my podcasts and my writing and my volunteering for the shelter, So it's a slightly different situation. I did tell her that I was maybe slightly envious of his, his excursions, but, it's a different situation, and I'm well aware of that. So, and the thing with Flame is that, in case my friend is watching this in the cat room and he's resting, and, if my friend is watching this on the iPad or on her phone, in case Flame, if you're listening to this, I'm not going to tell you to turn back, and that's the whole thing with my approach with Patap. I will never tell anyone that they must turn back or they must go clear. It's your decision. But what I will wish you is, stay safe when you're on your excursion. Stay safe, and make every effort to return, and add oil. Go for it, but try to stay safe, and that you're loved at home, and you come back, but it's dangerous out there. Your world is possibly even more dangerous than mine. I don't have to deal with the wild animals like coyotes and things. You just have to deal with some dodgy people, just stay safe, and in my world, I try to be careful too when I go, and and I do meet some very interesting people people and some, I don't judge people, so just be careful. That's all I have to say to you, add oil, and I would also advise you, look, you've had 3 returns in 3 weeks, rest for a bit, take a few months, just recuperate, and then see if you want to go in another one or not, But for now, and I do understand the pull. Very, very much, So that's and then one other thing I want to say just very quickly is that my friend emailed me this morning when she said that actually she emailed me a couple of days ago. There's a new rescue, and this was a situation, and I'll just tell it very quickly. Her family was out riding. It's very rural, and they found a kitten about 2 weeks old who was kind of abandoned, and was in the woods, and they, couldn't find any siblings or the mother. And my friend said that, this kitten would not have made the night, So she took him or her, home. I think it's him. Took him home and, fed him by hand, stayed up all night, 48 hours, and, all the attention and everything. And, it was touch and go. It's possible that he might not have made it. But she emailed me this morning that he's gained 2.5 ounces. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot for something like that big. 2.5 ounces in 48 hours, and is probably, hopefully, going to make it. And this one has been given a car name, and I'm not going to say the name, but it's a small car, And she said, you'll appreciate this. It's a car name, So there's a new addition to the clan out in this other province. So, hi little one, and so, and to everybody else, everything is fine here. I'm now 3 weeks clear, as I said. I have responsibilities, which, Flame doesn't, and spending the weekend, trying to do some writing here with the kids, with the 3 kids. We're having our family togetherness time, all of that stuff. And in case I don't podcast again this weekend, I'll just wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And now you know that I'm very anti all forms of organized religion, but we have our Bast, the cat goddess figurine here. So happy Thanksgiving from the cat world, And bye for now.